Hi, I'm Renée Walker, a mindset mentor, speaker, and lover of all things spiritual. I believe that at our core, we are all spiritually wired for love, peace, success, and abundance. Here on the podcast, we're diving into mindset, wellness, and business, but always through a spiritual lens. Let's just say we're going deep, but we're keeping it light. So let's elevate your life from the inside out, one conversation at a time. Welcome to Spiritually Wired. Welcome back to the Spiritually Wired podcast. I have with me today my dear friend, Marsha Vanwynsberghe, and she is back on the pod because Marsha was with us all the way back to episode 9, one of our very first episodes, and it was one of the most popular episodes, actually. People loved it because we talked all about NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which I know so many people are curious about. And so I have since then completed personally my NLP practitioner certification, and then I embarked on my NLP master certification. And that has been, for the past 6 months, and it included a full week immersion where part of the certification means that all of the participants come together in person for 5, or maybe it was 5 nights, I think it's 6 days, and we just immerse ourselves in the world of NLP. So I just got back maybe 2 days ago, and I'm like, I really want to record a recap because I'm like fresh off of this crazy experience. And, why not have Marsha come and join? Because not only, of course, is she a friend, she is the facilitator, the one who has been teaching me all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, how to use it in my own personal life, and then also how to use it with clients. So, Marsha, thank you for joining us very last minute and doing this recap, which, to be clear with all of you listening, we have no idea where it's going to go. We're just
Isn't
winging
that the
it.
truth? Thank you, Renée, for having me. I'm thrilled to be back. And we knew there was so many moments last week where it was like, when you're in this area enough, it's like, that's something to share and that's something to share. So who knows what's going to come up today, but we did get to witness a lot of this firsthand last week in a beautiful, immersive environment. Like, what a great week that was.
I
So
know.
good.
It was so good. And I mean, I'd love to get like your take as facilitating it in terms of holding space for something like this. And then, yeah, I'm still processing what I'm personally integrating from that week. So we're going to keep it open and see what shows up. But first, for those people who are listening to the podcast that might be new to what NLP is, do you mind let's just start by giving a little quick refresher on what NLP is.
Absolutely. I will do my best to do it very concisely. NLP is neuro linguistic programming. It is the thoughts that you think, what you are creating. Your thoughts are creating the world around you. And it's not as simple as changing the thoughts so that you can create something differently. That's conscious coaching. It is really getting to the root of what those thoughts and beliefs are and learning how to release the hold that we have in our own subconscious mind so that we can move towards what we want to create instead of what we don't want. And it is such a very simple sentence, and there's a lot of different modalities and a lot of different ways that you can work with people and help people. And it's something you almost have to witness and experience to understand how different it is from typical, what I call conscious coaching, which is what a lot of the coaching industry is, conscious coaching, cheering you on. You can do this. Go do your, 100 DMs in order to connect with people and get over your fear and snap, it's done. And that's just not the truth. It's just not the truth. when we get to the root of it, that's when we create lasting change. So when you said that you're still integrating, that's exactly what it is. We're all still integrating that change into our life because it is an ongoing process, but lasting change comes at the subconscious level.
Absolutely. And I know personally, I've always been pulled, guided towards the spiritual coaching, which, from my perspective, transcends the mind
Mhm.
because we're tapping into a universal energy. However, what I also know to be true is that what's in the way between us and tapping in, connecting to this greater universal energy, spirit, God, source, whatever we want to call it, is our own subconscious mind. And so that's been why I know personally I've really was fascinated with NLP. And I had a personal experience with it where I
Mhm.
worked with a practitioner, and I just felt that it was really helpful for me when I was
Mhm.
doing the work with her. And I just wanted to be able to learn how to use these tools now with my clients because I could see, I felt the results that I had in my own life, and it just was
Mhm.
like that perfect addition to add. So you said something about how it is very different. Like you mentioned something earlier, right? It's very different. And so maybe that's a good place to start because I know that personally, as a student of it, that's been my biggest block. And I've told you this, right? Many times. It's very unique the way the tools that we learn, the modalities, in the sense that it doesn't make sense. And
Mhm.
what I have learned, and I know the past week in this immersion was just really uh, I guess connecting to that in a deeper way was the fact that it doesn't make sense. It's not meant to make sense. And so there is a trust required. There
Mhm.
is a sense of, I'm going to let go of trying to make sense of it and recognize that the way that the subconscious mind works is actually by it not making sense. When it makes sense, then you're in your conscious mind, you're logically trying to think about it. And that's where we naturally gravitate towards. So the whole idea of it, I guess that was like one of the deeper ahas is, yeah, that's the whole point, is that it doesn't make sense for that's the way in which your subconscious mind is going to connect to it. If it makes too much sense, then you're still in that 5%, which is the conscious mind.
Oh, I love that you
Does that
went
make
there.
sense?
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure somebody, and if you're listening to this, it might feel like, okay, but so that means it doesn't make sense. It is, if you're trying to apply a lot of logic to something, then you're in your conscious mind. Subconsciously, we have like so many different thought, like blocks and beliefs and barriers and thoughts that necessarily don't serve our highest good and what we want to do. And I love how you spoke. I love how you shared it this week. And I know there's more to come on that, but how you spoke about, connecting with spirit, but at the same time, you can be extremely connected to something that is beautifully outside of yourself. But what's really still going to block you is the beliefs that you have about yourself. That's the subconscious
Mhm.
work. And the thing is that if most people were to share their limiting thoughts and beliefs out loud, like think of, we did a board breaking exercise.
Mhm.
We talked about this. On the one side of the board, you were writing the things that you were releasing, you didn't want to hold on to anymore. It didn't take long before we were all feeling this ick feeling of like, I don't even like writing this. I don't want to speak like this. I don't want to think like this. Yet we all still do. We have those thoughts. But if we take those thoughts, I mean, and this is like a group of women that are invested time, energy to be in a space to learn how to shift and change and transform this. And we're still having these thoughts. And
Mhm.
so if you take those thoughts and you speak them out loud, majority of the people in your life would look at you and say, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not true. They don't make logical sense, yet we still have them running on repeat. So it's how can we learn? I think to me, NLP has been a massive game changer in helping me to teach myself, to lead myself, to catch those thoughts, to know what to do with them and be able to shift it and change it. So it is, I mean, no one is immune to this. Everybody experiences this on some way, shape, or other. And that's why when we hear in the coaching space that it's all mindset work, if you're only taking mindset work to it, and that is, the affirmations, the journaling, which is still important, but if you're only doing that, that is 5% of your brain's capacity. And so what happens is that you can set this really beautiful goal, like, and have the best intentions for this goal. But if you don't address the subconscious beliefs that are running on repeat here, then when you don't reach the goal, you will make it mean something about you that you can't do it. And then maybe next time you play even smaller, or you'll drop the goal and you'll sell yourself short, when really it is about getting your conscious mind and your subconscious mind on the same page, so that when you move towards your goals, that you can do it in a way that is in far more alignment than it was in the first place.
Yeah. And that the board breaking exercise, which, if you're listening to this episode, you might have heard, like, I know in a lot of the Tony Robbins, it's something that's quite popular in NLP, right? It's
Yeah.
part of the rite of passage, if you will. And
Yes, it is.
and one of the big reason behind it is also where you learn to be in state, right? How you can shift your state to be, so that you can break that board. So it was really interesting. And I love that you brought that up, because we we took some time to write. So Marsha mentioned, like, on one side it was writing the limiting beliefs that we were going to break through, and then on the other side was writing the beliefs that we were choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember before saying, "Well, I don't know if I wanna write
I
down."
know.
I don't know if
I
you
heard
remember
you.
that. I
I
told
do
you.
remember.
I'm like,
Yep.
"Well, Marsha, do I have to write down the things?" Because I'm pretty sure I've let go of all of my limiting beliefs.
Red flag. Red
I
flag.
don't have any left. No, I knew that they were still present, but it felt like I don't wanna give energy to them, right?
Yep.
It's where I
Yep.
was at. Because there were a few of them that I had been very intentional with releasing and letting go, and they felt
Mm-hmm.
good. But then it was so interesting how easily I was tired. I remember
Yep.
sitting and I'm just like, okay, just write down all the thoughts. And boy, let's just say I wouldn't want anybody to read that board, because it was just unbelievable what's showing up. And this is, again, after years of doing so much
I
work,
know.
knowing. But the thing is, if you were to ask my conscious mind, do you believe those things? I'm like, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm worthy. I know all those things. That it's so clear, right? What I
Mm-hmm.
know. But if you just let your subconscious mind bring it all up, it was quite remarkable what was coming up. But one of the things that has helped me too with this work is, and you said this earlier, it's the story that we attach to them. So being aware of them, to me, is what is our power. We're aware of them so we can release them, we can let them go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when we attach stories to them. So it's not because we have them
No.
that that part is bad. Of course, we're human, and the mind is designed to keep us safe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to create beliefs to support that safety, to support the protection. So it was very, I find that piece of it to be so helpful when you're like, well, it's not about the belief, it's the story you attach to the belief.
The
And
story's
those are two different
powerful.
things.
Yep. There are two different things. And the story that we tend to attach to those beliefs is all about us, and it's not good. It's
Hmm.
not good. Some of those,
No.
and I mean, in full transparency, I was doing it along with you guys. And
Hmm.
when I got into the flow of writing the things that I was releasing, I was almost having a moment of being embarrassed for how many were coming out. Like it
Mhm.
was, and how fast my subconscious was like, yes, this one, let it go, let it go. And I wasn't going back and thinking, oh, what were all the limiting beliefs I've ever had? These are like current thoughts that pop up once in a while. See, our brain is designed to keep us safe. And so it will always choose what is safe, predictable, and familiar. Always, 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 until you condition it of that it's safe to go after something new. So when you do set that goal and go after something new, what happens is our world is filtered through our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind is like, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? That's actually like, that's not safe, predictable, and familiar. Remember, we have 3 rules over here. What are we doing? And it will literally talk you out of it by almost showing you all of the times that it didn't work out, and then the stories that attach to it and what we make them mean. And so it is, I think that when you can learn to see this work and understand that this is what your brain's job is,
Mhm.
there is nothing wrong with you. It's actually doing exactly what it is designed to do. It helps you to see it in a neutral lens. And then with some of the tools that we've learned through all this work, we learn how to release it to create lasting change, right? It's not as simple as me saying, "Come on, Renee, you know you can do this." Like,
Mhm.
I mean, that's beautiful cheerleading, but that doesn't help you to actually shift what that belief is making you feel like inside.
Yes, I know. And also recognizing that, and this was like a theme that we had throughout the week too, because there were some pretty big aha moments for people, some big transformations. Of course, we're not going to go into detail of those things, but when it shows up, it's always surprising because for everyone, you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that was there. Or I thought I had let that go, or whatever it may be. But then it's realizing that just like an onion, I mean, we're always peeling back. So
Always.
this is a lifetime's work. It's not, I wish there was a check where it would be like, done, healed, let's move on. I mean, yes, in the sense of, okay, it
Mm-hmm.
feels good. There's a release took place,
Mm-hmm.
and we're human, we're evolving, we're always shifting, doing new things, hopefully, which
Yep.
means experiencing new limits to what we can do. So that was also showing up too for so many of us.
It was. And I mean, I think everybody had a moment or more than one moment where something that was blocking them came up in a way. As I say, when a person presents a problem, the problem is not the problem, right? It's not. The
Hmm.
problem is the underlying subconscious belief that is attached to all of the times that they have tried or a story was attached. And it takes time for it to come up to the surface. Because if I said to a client, but what's the problem? Well, they don't know. They actually
Yeah.
don't know. They don't understand. The feeling is that I can't do this. And
Hmm.
that's not the problem. The problem is underneath. We witnessed a couple where and that subconscious mind is stubborn and will hold on to those beliefs and those thoughts. And with patience and energy and questions, we were able to have, there was a couple times where it took quite a while to get to the root of it, but I knew we were on track. Like I just knew. There
Hmm.
was one point in particular where I didn't know this, and you were behind me, and I was supporting a client. And I remember thinking, I don't think I know how to do Reiki, but I'm feeling Reiki, and I think I can use Reiki because I feel like I'm holding energy. And it was so cool because you were behind me doing that. And I honestly,
Hmm.
I could feel it. You never said anything to me until afterwards. And that's what you're doing. In my opinion, when you do this work, you are not forcing the 10-step solution. You are creating a safe space so that the client can have that shift on their own when they are ready and they feel safe to do so.
Yeah, I think that on a personal level was so important, is knowing that, and it doesn't matter what tool you use.
No.
You can take, there's so many different courses you can take, and, certifications, whatever it may be. The importance of the learning of them is really important, and the making
Mhm.
sure that you're in integrity with whatever
Mhm.
tool that you're using. And then you get to listen to your own intuition, and you get to bring your own energy to it in the way in which you feel the person is going to receive the
Mhm.
most out of it. So I know that for me, I appreciated the way that you were able to teach us and the way that you held space. I mean, I'm just going to speak for myself, but for me personally, knowing that I have different things that I'm bringing to it, and now it gets to be, I get to use it in a way that feels good. But that was a really cool moment because I remember we were practicing a specific tool that we learn,
Mhm.
and a lot of, I mean, it says it in the word, right? NLP is neuro linguistic programming. So there's language is a
Yep.
big part of NLP.
Huge.
Huge part, more than I thought it was prior to starting on my NLP journey, a
Mhm.
year and a half, if not close to 2 years at this point, years ago. I didn't realize just to what extent the language was. So there's specific ways that we do things, and there's a reason why we do them. So even though I was very feisty and always like, no, 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 I want to do it. Now I've learned to let that go and to
Mhm.
trust it. But then also intuitively, as you said, sometimes it takes more time. Anyhow, long story, we're practicing this tool. And I remember asking you, I wanted to practice that one because it felt, I didn't
Yep.
feel as confident on it. So there's a lot of question asking, and there's a whole sort of formula in the way that you bring it together. And I'm like, can I sit next to you so that I can see how you do it?
Yep.
And then the way it was positioned, it just wasn't working that way. I wasn't able to see. Anyhow, it turned out that as it was happening, and I can feel my hands right now because it was just as it was happening, I just, yeah, felt this strong connection with, what I call Reiki energy, which is energy healing, and just sending that energy behind it. It was really cool, I
I
have to
felt
say.
it.
Yeah.
I literally felt it, and I couldn't see you, and I
And she
felt
felt it too in the end. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool. I've never experienced anything like that before.
Mhm.
So it just was beautiful because, yes, we have a list of like, there's so many different modalities, and we have, scripts for following them because it's safe for the client. And you get to bring your own self to the table as well. So I know, as with different experiences that you have, and with different training, you get to bring that to the table. So you really do get to bring this entire, like, almost like library of support for the client, and each one is different.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so one of the big reasons why I know I wanted to invest in my master certification was to learn how to facilitate breakthrough days. So that's a
Yeah.
big part of being a master NLP, and just as where again, coming back to language for people listening, you may hear breakthrough quite a bit in different ways, but in the NLP world, there is a specific way in which we hold space for a breakthrough day. And it's
Yes.
it's a doozy, people. It's a good 8-hour day. And you're going for it, man. You're choosing an area of your life that you want to focus on, and then from there, really gaining clarity on your
Hmm.
values, on why that goal is important to you, but then addressing, well, what's happening, what's in the way of that. And the way that it's designed is that, let's just say we don't leave any stone unturned.
Nope. We
No,
turn them all over.
we turn them all over. So it's an intense day, and
Hmm.
then it ends in a beautiful, powerful, positive way. So I had the experience of doing an NLP day with a breakthrough day with you. I was able to facilitate a day, and I'm so excited to be able to now offer that to clients and create this breakthrough experience. But one of my ahas is that And we talked about the board breaking, so that was another thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're all able to follow me as I'm talking. So, I feel like I'm all over the place, but that's
They're
okay.
still with
It's a
you. We're
recap.
with you.
It's a recap. It's a recap, people. We're keeping it real. We're keeping it real. Uh, so the board cutting.
Hmm.
We're breaking through our limiting beliefs. So as we said, there's limiting beliefs on one side, there's the beliefs we want to hold. We're breaking through them. And there's a whole story about how that went. And we're gonna come to that after.
Okay.
So we're breaking through that. Then we're learning how to facilitate breakthrough days. So I'm gonna put a pin on that because
Hmm.
my word this year, and I believe I've shared this on the podcast before, but my word for 2025, every year I choose a word, is breakthrough.
Hmm.
And I had signed up for my master certification by then, but it was just in the beginning. I was not, I know there was no connection to the word breakthrough from it. I just knew that I
For
wanted
me
to
either.
continue. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't, I did not associate the word breakthrough with my NLP training. I just knew for some reason I felt called to break through. I'm like, this is the year that I'm finally breaking through because it felt like there's been a lot of work coming in, a lot of like doing. And I just was like, I kept thinking of this, just something breaking through. Anyhow, it's been an intense year on a
Hmm.
personal level. There's been a lot of things show up that I was not expecting. Not that we ever do expect.
No.
We never see them coming anyhow. But on many times, Marsha's heard me say, oh my gosh, like I am not using the word breakthrough. Next year, it's going to be, I don't know, what is it going to be? Soft,
Soft, light.
gentle, light is gonna be the word. Light, just something like super
Yeah.
easy, gentle, ease, all those words combined. And I'm like, wow, like what breakthrough I called in that year. So I've had that thought of how it's been like hard. The breakthrough's been hard. So we do this breakthrough experience with the wood cutting, and it was very, it's very empowering, right? It's
It
exciting because
was.
you're in
It was.
state. I had the song Unstoppable by Sia playing, and then everyone's breaking through their board and we're high-fiving or feeling great. And it was like right after I had this moment of breakthrough. And I was like a toddler, like
You were.
literally a 3-year-old toddler running for their parent, mom. But in my case, it was Marsha,
I could hear you in the
Marsha.
house, and I'm like, what is wrong? And you're like, my word. And it was just this moment of like, oh my gosh, I see it changed the energy of the word breakthrough.
It just came to me in a new way. And this is when, like, when we speak of intuition, when we speak of spiritual connection, it's always a feeling. It's a knowing. You
Mhm.
can't explain it and you can't
No,
make sense of it. It's never
no.
logical. And it was this full body knowing of this is what the breakthrough's been about. And it
Mhm.
was just so beautiful.
I loved it.
And of course, I had to tell you because you knew like how much I was putting such a hard energy on the word breakthrough. It wasn't my intention, but it's what showed up.
Hmm.
And all this to say that the power, and it's bringing me to the power of surrendering in that moment. So when I asked for breakthrough, well, in order for there to be a breakthrough, something has to break through, right?
Hmm.
And we talk about this a lot in terms of holding capacity. Actually, I just did an episode on like self-sabotage is a capacity issue. And when we're asking for more of something, we are asking to also hold space, have capacity to hold the opposite of that. And we just don't know what that is going to show up as. And so, such a great reminder, too, of the letting go of what it's going to look like and the trusting that at one point it's going to make sense, but we can't control when it's going to make sense, how it's going to look like. We can't control any of that. It's just holding on. For some reason, that word resonated with me and it was
Mm-hmm.
calling me. I just didn't know. I thought I knew what it looked like, but I didn't. It was in that moment that it just all came to me. And so that power of surrendering, and for you personally, and I don't know how you feel about sharing, but I know that even just bringing together this whole experience for us, there was a lot of surrendering, a lot of it not looking like you thought it
Mm-hmm.
was going to look like. Sometimes things falling, down so that you would have to pick it all up in a new way. So what's been the surrendering process for you? Has you've been like, this was a big thing for you. This was your first
Oh,
NLP master certification you were running. So what was surrendering for you?
I think that message has been on repeat this year. I'm pretty sure at the end of last year, my word was expansion, which I don't ever do. Just like, just so you know, like if you choose expansion, honestly, the very first thing that will show up is contraction, because it's like can you hold the opposite? You can't hold expansion if you can't hold the opposite. And so I know there have been tremendous amounts of issues this year, not issues, things that have happened that have felt like massive contraction. And, in those moments, it's like, can I do this? Right? Like, I don't know about you, but like when we're in those moments where it's challenging or something is showing up for us, those are the moments that our subconscious mind craves certainty. And so, since it craves certainty and it can't find it because it's like literally the opposite of certainty, you will fall back into old patterns and behaviors. So I felt myself like with more doubts. Like, what am I doing? Can I actually do this? When we're doing something we have never done before, remember our subconscious mind's job is to keep us where it is safe, predictable, and familiar. So this year, when I look back, like I led my first retreat, I've done my first in-person outspoken, the practitioner. I led my first master practitioner, and I'm doing my very first live event. Like, I'm sure my subconscious mind is like, what the heck are you doing this year? And so it's had some adjustment, and I've been working through that. So about 5 weeks, I don't even think I think it was 5 weeks before the immersion, and now I'm hosting like 6 people, right? Plus myself. We've got food, we've got all these, like, there's so many moving parts. We have flights, we have a lot of things, and we lose our venue. And I mean, I don't publicly share this because I just didn't. I can share it after the fact, but we lost our venue. And this is what I talk about with the stories that we tell ourselves. As soon as we lost the venue, my very first immediate thought was, am I meant to do this? Like, can I do this? This is like it feels like everything is falling apart. And one of the things I've learned through NLP is like, can you get to neutral and see those thoughts? They're just normal thoughts. They happen. We don't have to attach a meaning and an emotion to that story that we're telling ourselves. The second we attach a meaning and emotion to it, we keep it alive for longer. So in neutral, I was there, I probably honestly for about a day, where I was thinking, am I meant to do this? And all of the doubts were real and they were running rampant. And then somebody said to me, why don't you, like, you have to ask for help. You have to ask for help somehow. Post it online. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to post it online that I lost the venue and now everyone's going to know. And I feel like I failed. Again, no one said that to me. That's what I was doing to myself. And so I decided to reach out to probably maybe 5 to 10 people that I knew well and said, do you happen to know of a venue? And one person, a past client, reached back to me and she said, actually, I do. This venue is not actually open for, renting it until next year, but I'll put you in touch with the owner. And so I had a conversation with the owner. She's like, well, it's not ready until next year, but what do you need? And I started to tell her, and we had a beautiful conversation. And it is a different venue because, a lot of times we think of Airbnb, right? You have the space. This is actually classed as a bed and breakfast. So she's on site the whole time. So I would say the first day was like day or two was just trying to figure things out. So I decided that, yes, this would be the right venue to go to. And honestly, if I'm going to say divine spirit, I don't know what, but when things fell apart, they couldn't have fallen together better. In my opinion, they could not have fallen together better. The venue was incredible. It was incredible. Like, honestly, the outside is like a resort. Um, the most beautiful walk, 15-minute walk every morning down to the water to watch the sunrise in probably the one of the most stunning sunrises I have ever seen. And it was like, is this real? I don't understand. This is real. And the relationship that we built with Jeannie, the host, was beyond special. And what she did for us during the stay was so incredible. And I had a really emotional moment where, all year I have been writing about how my business is growing, and I am open to receiving the support that's so easily available. Like, support is just everywhere, and I allow myself to receive it. A past version of me didn't do that. She was very much like, I could do it by myself. And so that is subconscious rewiring in the moment, is when you're doing that. So I kept having these moments, and how it all came together. We all went to this venue. It was incredible. We had so much beautiful space in our little bubble. We called it our bubble. And I had a moment the one day I had to go outside because I was so emotional. I was crying. I was just like receiving this much support, feeling it on all levels. And I sat there and went, okay, another moment to anchor in that when it feels like the world is falling apart, that it has to fall away so that the next thing that actually is where you're supposed to be can come into place. And I mean, this has led to there's going to be other relationships with Jeannie. This is not a one and done thing. I connected her with Lynn, our incredible chef for the week. They're ecstatic that they've met each other. Like, the amount of things that have fallen into place because we went to this venue is mind blowing. It actually is. It's just, it was not left to me. It was very much surrendering it. And I feel like Spirit just went, okay, let's get all of these ducks back in a row here where they're supposed to be over here and put these people back in touch with each other. None of that would have happened if we hadn't lost the venue. So just a reminder, when it feels like things are not working, how fast can you see and reframe those thoughts to believe that they are working out in your favor? And that is something that I have learned through NLP. So interesting that I actually had to experience it, use the tools on myself, be open to something new, and then fall into a position that was exactly where we were supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is reframe in action,
In
right?
action. Yes.
So shout out to Port Paradise Events. That is the Instagram
Yes.
handle. Just, yeah, such a beautiful place. And you and I were going for walks every morning. That sunrise was, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's on Lake Erie, so maybe someone listening can tell us what, why it was like just, I mean, every sunrise is beautiful, but there was something about the way that the clouds were lined up at I don't know. It was the most magical sunrises I've ever see, there was one morning in particular where it was just everything was together. I mean, it looks like it's fake almost. We took a video and it was just unreal, but so beautiful. So the fact that we knew we could walk to the lake, but then
Yep.
we were in our own, felt very cocooned. And then we felt very looked after because Jeannie was there. So she could make the fire for us
Yep.
when two of the nights and create, really take care of us. And then, yes, Lynn from Herbs and Honey. So you definitely want to check out Lynn. She created the food or made the food for us for the whole week, and it was
Yep.
all gluten free, dairy free.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Everything,
And
right?
I
Right down
felt
to
full.
snacks and oh.
Oh, yes, I know. We could do a whole episode on the food. And especially as women,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sorry if you're a man listening to this, but there's something about women when food is prepared for you, we
Oh.
appreciate it in a
Mm-hmm.
way that is, it. like you feel so nurtured and taken care of just with the simple act of someone. I mean, we appreciate
Oh,
someone making food for us in such a way. And her food was delicious. I'm actually experiencing withdrawals, I have to say, since I've come back from that. Like,
same. I've been going in my fridge and going, where's number two? And where's all the
ah,
where's all the meals? You know what was interesting too as you talk about that? There was so many things, but many moments where, we had women who were in their like right in line with their gifts. Like Lynn
mm,
came and then cooked food for us in person on the Saturday, and watching her like in her element of so much, like so excited that we were enjoying the food. Like
mhm.
seeing women build what they want and like stepping into what's available for them, and the love and the pride coming and exuding out of them just was so beautiful to watch. Jeannie on the last night, you could see she was just like, this is why I do what I do. Like
Mhm.
that's magical in my opinion, seeing
It's the
women
best
in that
thing in the
space.
world,
Oh,
right? When you see
100%.
people shine in whatever way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it just brings so much joy. And, I'd say for me personally also being able to participate, to be a student again, to receive, I'm thanking you because that was felt so good, and I don't put my maybe I need to work on that. It's not, I don't, it's not something I do often, to be honest. So that felt very important. I don't know why the
Hmm.
word important, but it's like, yeah, this feels important for me to be there and to be a participant and to receive. And I think for those of you listening who are maybe coaches, who are maybe, you teach the yoga, you teach the this, you do whatever it is, but to
Hmm.
also put yourself in positions where you get to receive and to experience the gift of what the transformation that is possible, I think is so important and such a game changer for people.
I love that you said that. I think it is very, very important and special to allow yourself to be a client, right? Like to be a
Hmm.
client to receive it. And I think that in this, especially like this day and age, this environment, we think sometimes just take the information in, I can teach it, I can do it. I really do believe you are the client first, right? You are the client first, you are receiving, you're the student, the client, and then you can be the teacher practitioner. Like you have to be able to experience it in order to share it. And I loved that, I know you hold space for people all the time. So it's it's actually really fun to watch and witness somebody who is always typically facilitating be on the
Hmm.
receiving end of it, because I know how special that feels.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, and again, as we mentioned, it's one of those things whenever you embark on any type of transformational work, it takes time to process, to be. So I feel like the more space you can give yourself to
Hmm.
receive, to keep integrating whatever it is you learn, because as we were talking about, most of it is happening at a level that you're not necessarily aware of. So I've
Hmm.
learned to also let go of trying to logically make sense of what I receive and just lean into the trust that what was needed is what
Hmm.
happened. And it's exactly what I received. Even though
I
maybe
love
I
that.
thought it was going to look a different way,
Hmm.
we can't control that part. Like that's the part that's like, no, it didn't happen that way because it wasn't meant to happen that way. This is exactly what needed to happen.
When those things happen, it's really important to, and I say this all the time, but like really stop, pause, anchor it in. Like now, the next time when something doesn't go according to plan, like literally, which is always, But when it doesn't go according to plan, I can stop and say, okay, remember the time when I had my whole venue set up and everything was like supposed to look a certain way and it all fell apart, and this is how it came together. Like, we stack those wins and we get to see, like, we're building evidence for ourselves so that when doubts come up and things happen, we have this base of evidence, and it really does help us through those times. And I do have to say too, one thing that I loved is I actually got to experience the work. Renée took me through, not a full breakthrough day, but through part of the breakthrough day. And it is something to teach, to teach something new to people, and then also to experience it back as in return as a client. That was I don't know how to call it. I think it was like a bit of a wow kind of God moment where I just went like, wow, this is what's happening. Like, it is just seeing you guys take this and build it in your way to be able to facilitate it out is a big piece of my value of ripple effect. I want to see, like, I don't just want to teach information. I want to help you to integrate it so that you can go do this on your own. And so I actually got to receive this from you. And, if you would have asked me what my values were, I would have like rattled off like, probably 5 to 10 things. And that would have been my conscious mind talking. When you took me through it, what came up were almost new values. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is like, but we do change as humans. Those were done 3 years ago. We do change. Life changes us. And so being able to experience it on that end as a client was something I wasn't expecting either. And I loved, absolutely loved.
Oh, it was so great to be able to. Yeah, I appreciated the opportunity to be able to do a few of the tools and practice them with you. But yeah, values. So identifying values and the way that it's done from an NLP's perspective is a bit different than the
Mm-hmm.
way we do it in coaching, more traditional coaching, which is the way that I was used to. And that's a part of the breakthrough day that I know is so important. And for you, right, your value, and you just shared it, so I'm assuming it's okay. Like your top
Yes.
value of ripple effect, of creating a ripple effect was just, and now you can see how that value has already been guiding your work, but now
Mm-hmm.
that you have an awareness of how important it is, it gets to guide in an even more intentional way because now you're bringing the subconscious value to the surface and now you get to intentionally bring it into. And I think that that's so important. And
Mm-hmm.
we were chatting because I know before you've shared like health and relationships were always your top value and they weren't a top value, and it's not because they're not important to you anymore, it's because they're already embedded now in your life. So back then maybe it needed more awareness, you needed to be more intentional with making
Yes.
sure that you prioritize them. Now there's less of a need because it's so embedded in everything you do. So they didn't show up as much. It's not that they're not as important. So it's just fascinating how things, and I know when you helped me with my values a few months ago, and it was really interesting because we were doing work around money.
Mm-hmm.
And my top value was creating impact, is what we realized. But as we were going through all of the values around, actually it was building my business, not once did money come up.
No, not
So
once.
money didn't even come up once in any of the values. And it's not that I wasn't trying to bring it up, I actually wanted it to come up. I was like, what? Money didn't come up once. But it was such an awareness to be like, oh yes, that means my goals, this is what we get to learn when we do this work. A
Mm-hmm.
goal of money doesn't work for me. It doesn't motivate me because it's not a value of mine. It doesn't mean that I don't love it and I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a top value. So that means if my value is more attached to creating impact, then those are goals that are going to speak to me more.
I love that you went here, and I want to explain even further because I love how you went here. Is that if Renee if you were following someone else's plan and it was like do X, Y, and Z to make X amount of money, and your focus was on the money, it would be out of alignment with your personal values. And so it would be harder for you to push towards making that happen, is one thing. Second thing is even if you did achieve that goal, it wouldn't feel this, you would almost feel like, is this it? I don't understand. Like, it doesn't feel like I want it to feel. And so there'd be very much a disconnect. And so when we go through this exercise with values, it is very common that, again, the problem is not the problem, right? You think if you believe in that I can hit that goal, or I hit the goal and it doesn't feel a certain way, now all of a sudden someone's going to say to you, well, it's because you have money blocks, Renee. You have to work through those money blocks. And it's like, oh, okay, I have money blocks. Now there's a problem with me money wise. And there isn't. It's just not in alignment with the values. Once we started to change how you were building and sharing your gifts in the world, in your membership, with your clients, your mastermind, everything else that's coming down the way for you, which I know there's a lot. I love to say that when all of that is coming down the way, that all of a sudden it's like, no, it's impact. Great. What does impact mean to you? And we start to talk about it. And it's like, well, how many people would you love to have in your membership? And you start throwing out numbers with this energy and fire that I'm like, that's the Renee that we want to connect with. And when that happens, the money is the byproduct. So I think that's just, I wanted to like really share it from that lens, because when you get clear on those values, now all of a sudden the work and the effort that you're doing is lining up to what it is that you're putting out into the world. So it's just, it doesn't mean that money's not important. It's the way to get there is it needs to be in alignment with your values and who you are. And that's how you then create the results that you desire.
Yeah, it was such a big aha for me when we did that work. I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder.
Yep.
No wonder. Those goals just don't. And again, it's never right or wrong. It's not that this is right. It's just, it's not working for me. Why is it not working for me? Is it because I have a block around money? No, it turns out that it's actually just not a value. It's not the way, it's not what lights me up, what motivates me towards a goal. That's me. Some people are motivated by money. Amazing. You figure
Yep.
that out, then go for it. Have those goals around money. But it's a real eye opener in the way that our subconscious mind is driving us, motivating us. When we make the connection, then we can amplify it. We can amplify the way that we're working, because now we're using what actually motivates us. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I had said that we were going to do a quick little recap, and I know that you and I could keep talking for so long. Um, we get to also, and I'm not sure actually when this episode is coming out. So there's a chance that the event, but I know that you and I are together as well the weekend of November 7th, 8th, because you are hosting an event called the Heartwired CEO
Mm-hmm.
with Megan Weir, who is just an amazing human. She was also a guest on the podcast here as well. Um, so I would love to maybe wrap up our episode by just sharing what being a Heartwired CEO means. Like, what does that mean? If someone is listening and they're curious and maybe
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh, I don't know if this is for me. Am I a Heartwired CEO? What does that mean?
Beautiful, beautiful question. Heart-wired, if you actually look at, and here comes a little bit of a geek moment, our heart emits like 5,000 times the energy that our brain does. So when we are in a space of always in, like, I have to think about it, I have to think, no, 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 no. Like, how can you connect to what your heart is telling you? And most people are walking around with like this shield or, armor, or trying to take someone else's strategy and make it their own. We like to come back to like, what's our nervous system? How is it communicating with us? And what are the subconscious like beliefs, blocks, barriers that we have? How can we reprogram to create the results that we desire? So between the two of us, Meg and I are both master practitioners, and she's an ROT specialist, and I'm an NLP trainer. So we bring a lot of different things to our containers. And it's a beautiful combination of it. So a heart-wired CEO, in my opinion, is somebody who respects and understands how their nervous system works, how their subconscious mind works, and how they can lead themselves day in and day out to be able to go after the goals that they have set for themselves. And this is a dance every single day. Like,
Mhm.
I know that the nervous system conversation is very, very like big right now in the online space. I mean, as it should be. But what it's also doing is it's leading people to think that and feel that they're broken. Their nervous system is broken. They have to fix it. They have to pause and heal so that they can go do what they want to do. And yes, there are times that life requires us to pause. But what this work is how can you teach yourself to regulate in the moment? So instead of doing like this, up, down, crash, burn, it's like, feeling a little bit of the highs, feeling a little bit of the lows. How can we get to neutral and regulate ourselves so that we can hold everything that we're creating? Because if you would have asked me the version of me from 3 years ago, I'm like, I want to grow my business. I want to grow my business, all of those things. Well, with growing your business also means major challenges, things not going the way that you want, sometimes failed payments, sometimes no payments, sometimes, sharing what you do. So how can you get to neutral faster with all of the pieces? And you do that by learning how to lead with your heart, tap into yourself, listening to your intuition, and leading from there versus leading from something external.
Mm. It's going to be just such a powerful event. So we're going to put the link to the event in the show notes. I'm so honored to be, a
Call
part
it,
of
say it. You're
it.
not just a part. You're not just a part. Say
I'm
it.
the master of ceremonies. I get to hold space
Yeah.
for all of the beautiful women and man,
Mm-hmm.
Alex,
Mm-hmm.
on the
We have a couple
stage.
men coming. We do. We actually have a couple
Yes,
men
we
coming.
have some men in the room,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm so looking forward to that. And I just want to thank you, Marsha, for just being, such a beautiful person and also for following your nudges, your intuition, your calling, those years ago when you knew, okay, there has to be a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't see the whole thing ahead. And that's the whole point when we do this work. It's not about seeing exactly where you're going. I think it's great sometimes. Yes, we can set goals, we can have a vision, we can work towards it, but it's really about what's calling you now. And in those moments of listening to that, slowly the path appears.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know from conversations we've had before, you never saw this for you. When you first started on the path, it just started to show up the more that you showed up for yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
in the meantime, you've created this beautiful ripple effect. Da da!
Nice.
Of
Hey, you
bringing back.
looped. That
I
was a good
looped.
loop. You looped. I love
Yes, I
it.
totally looped. If you're listening still, if you're listening, looping is also NLP. Yes, we bring it
Mm-hmm.
back. We bring it
Mm-hmm.
back. So thank you. And thank you for saying yes, coming on the podcast, helping me recap this incredible, magical week that, yes, I continue to process. And I just cannot wait to share more of all of these incredible tools and the membership and, with my clients. And I'm just so incredibly grateful. So
My
thank
pleasure.
you. And I will remind you as you're listening that you are spiritually wired always for love, for success, for abundance, for peace, for calm, for clarity, for all of it. I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to Spiritually Wired. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and leave a review. It really makes a big difference for the podcast. And if you're ready to dive deeper and join a soul-led community, come be a part of the Spiritually Wired membership. With weekly live lessons and a rich library of recorded classes, it's designed to support you every step of the way on your spiritual journey. We currently have a special offer where you can receive your first month for half the price. You can find a link in the show notes or come check it out at reneewalkerwellness.com. Until next time, remember to take some deep breaths. Remember that you are spiritually wired.